All right, everyone, welcome to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. I'm Dr. Michelina AF, and I am a leadership coach. I am a doctorate in leadership. I have a doctorate in leadership. I'm also a felon. I'm on the sex offense registry, and I've done this thing. I like to call myself the felon doctor because I have now lived the hard knocks. I have lived the academic life. At this point, I've kind of done it all. And so I'm here. If you're here for that, hang out. If you aren't, pop off. Don't need you. Don't need negativity. So if you're here to learn from somebody who's got real life experience and also academic experience and also a whole bunch of experience, hang out. If not, get to going because this isn't for you. Now, if you are here, you might have found me from some other place. You know that I'm in the business of transformation, legitimate transformation, choosing life over choosing death, choosing to grow over choosing to stay stagnant and doing the simple thing, doing the disciplined, harder routes to get your power back and to get yourself in alignment and not pretending like everything's fine when it's not, right? So if you're somebody who likes to pretend like shit is fine when it's not, this isn't for you. If you want some hard truths that are gonna come to you in love, welcome. You're not gonna get harder truths here than I've gotten in my own life. I'm not gonna tell you anything I haven't already done. So if that's all for you, stick around. So today I wanna start talking about integrity. That's the first thing, is like you have to show up in integrity to yourself, right? Now that's tough. It's tough to show up in integrity when you don't know who the fuck you are. How do you show up in integrity when you don't know who you are? How do you show up in integrity when you don't know what you want? How do you show up in integrity when you've never actually taken the time to consider yourself? And the answer is you don't. When you have taken all the time to be considering everybody else's perspective, everybody else's point of view, everybody else, what they wanted for your life or their desires, your husband, your wife, your kids, your mom, your dad, your boss, if you're in the military, your leadership there, you don't know how to show up in integrity. And that's okay. Calm down. We are all there at some point. We're social creatures. We learn in community. And so we're so busy learning from everything outside of us from the ages of 0 to 7 that what ends up happening is that we don't actually know what's true to us because we're learning and we're absorbing and we're intaking all of these things that may or may not be authentic to us. And we don't really know, right? So if you don't know how to show up in integrity, you're in good company. Most people don't. I'm going to tell you the true story of how I realized I wasn't showing up in integrity. So from ages, 0 to 28, I always thought I was like very confident, very secure, very aware. God, I thought I was so self-aware, guys. I thought I was so self-aware. Anybody who says like, oh, I'm so self-aware, odds are they're not. Odds are they're not. I was not, unfortunately. But I didn't know that until I completely gave my power away to my 16-year-old student. And so what happened was, God, I was so grateful to him for listening to me. Like, oh, I'm so grateful to you for listening to me. We were like friends for 5 months. I was like, wow, I really feel like I can confide in you. A lot of that was because I parked at the point of my own pain when I was 14. And there's a lot of research on that now. There's a lot of studies on that, where we park at the point of our emotional pain and we kind of shut off. And that happens to a lot of us between the ages of 12 and 16. We have some kind of thing that's too traumatic that we don't work through effectively. In my case, it was a simultaneous affair of me being raped, me losing my best friend to a brain aneurysm, and me being publicly shamed. It was a 3-thing that really, going into this sort of freshman year, the summer going into freshman year, completely destroyed my emotional capabilities. And I was about 13 at the time. And so that I was at an emotional point of being 13. So emotionally, I'm connecting with somebody who is 16 because that felt more like age appropriate emotionally. Obviously, in the reality of things, I'm 28 and I'm his teacher and he's 16 and he's my student. So like physically, when you're looking at the reality of the thing, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? If you ever actually look up teacher scandals, this happens a lot. And it's because most teachers, we go into the profession trying to change the system in a positive way. And then we lose ourselves in the process because we're not actually fully healed from our own experiences, right? I don't want to speak for everybody, but I do know there's a lot of teacher scandals out there. And that's just been going on for a very long time. So I'm not the first, I'm not the worst, I'm not the only, but I am somebody who succumbed to it. And so when I was parking at the point of this emotional pain, talking to this person, I gave him all of my power, right? My entire fate was in his hands, which, of course, you never want to do. You don't want to put your power, your capabilities, your integrity in somebody else's possession, right? It gets everybody into a lot of trouble. And so this is how blackmailing happens. This is how a lot of bad things happen when we take our integrity, because we only have so many resources. We only have so much shit, right? We take our integrity and we put it in somebody else's basket. And we're like, hey, take care of this for me. They don't. 9 times out of 10, they don't. So I want to talk this whole week about integrity. I want to talk about how do you show up in integrity? How do you get into integrity? How do you reclaim yourself? How do you set some standards so that you can show up to your own standards? And how do you, kind of forgive yourself when you fall short of those standards and you give yourself that grace? Having done all of that, I am well equipped to talk to you about it because I do that on the daily, right? And even now, people 4 years later, 3 years later are like, oh, well, shouldn't you be ashamed of yourself for this, that, and the other thing? No, I'm not going to be ashamed of myself. I'm not going to do it. Shame is a useless emotion. So no, I'm not going to be ashamed of myself. I'm going to own my shit. I pled guilty to a crime I didn't even think I committed. Okay, I owned my shit, and I'm not going to let it burden me for the next 20 fucking years. It's not going to happen, right? So if you can start showing up in the integrity of your life and say like, hey, I know that was not aligned with myself. I know I fucked up there. I'm just going to grow from it and learn from it. You can never fail. You can only grow. You can only learn. So we are here to talk about integrity this entire week. Hang out if that feels like something that is good for you. If it's not, that's fine. You keep doing you. I don't mind. I have a course that'll help expedite the process. It's www.completelyfekted.vhx.tv. You can go ahead and check that out. It's only $7.99. I want to make it very affordable so that you can get, the goodness that is on there. Talks a lot about a lot. So enjoy that and keep coming here for some free content. I'm also on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram, and we'll just be learning and growing together, guys, because I've had the hard knocks and hopefully you haven't. And if you want to change your perspective, change your awareness, and change your life, like, follow, subscribe, and tell your friends, because we're here to be more, not less.